of Thrones actors traumatized. It's kind of clickbait because I'm not sure they're traumatized. It's more of a theory of mine. Regarding the Game of Thrones actors, I think they're traumatized. Firstly, because the show ended. Secondly, because the fans hated the way it ended. Thirdly, though, it just occurred to me, they're traumatized by the fact that they hate the way it ended. Their characters, what happened to their characters has got to mess with them. You know, I would at first think, well, they're professional actors. They don't actually think they're their characters, right? I mean, maybe the little kid who plays Arya or Bran, but certainly not like the guy who plays Jorah or like the guy who plays was Varys, right? He certainly doesn't actually think he's Varys in real life, right? That would be ridiculous. But I had a friend who was an actor, and he developed schizophrenia at a very early age. And he said it's not healthy if you've got schizophrenia. You shouldn't be an actor because it's just too much to deal with emotionally and identity-wise and all that. The actors who... The play Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, it's a really traumatic role to play, and apparently people need time off and they even need therapy after playing the role. One of the roles in that... I think if you ever watch it, it's a great movie. I think it's starring Elizabeth Taylor, but it's terrifying how evil that play and it's a movie play. It's terrifying how evil it is. My point being that I think actors do sort of believe they are the characters they're playing, and they carry some residual identity issues after the play or the movie. Margot Kidder, who was played Lois Lane in the original Superman movies, 15, 20 years later, they found her. She had a schizophrenic break or something, and they found her in a bush saying, "I'm Lois Lane." The stars of the Avengers movies: Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner. I am sure that there's a part of them that doesn't believe that they're Captain America and the Hulk, but kind of in a fantasy way does believe they are that character and takes it with them after work. In fact, I just realized that I've subconsciously often wondered if Robert Downey Jr. has kept that mustache beard thing that he wears as Tony Stark, if he kept that during daily life, and even the glasses, the pink tinted glasses and all that. I'm pretty sure that Bruce Willis and Will Smith think that they're actually superheroes and larger than life, which is why I can't watch their movies anymore. It got to their head. Like, Bruce Willis really does think he's John McClane. 20 years ago, Bruce Willis said he wishes he could be in a room alone with Saddam Hussein. It's like, buddy, he's a killer. He would destroy you. Like, you're an actor, okay? You wouldn't know what to do with Saddam Hussein. I was so disgusted after that, I could never watch another Bruce Willis movie. Mark Wahlberg also, after the Twin Towers went down, he said that if he had been on that plane, it wouldn't have gone down like that. And after that, I could never watch another movie by him because this guy's so deluded. He really thinks that he's a superhero, and the common people like me are just regular people, but he's actually the chosen one, I guess. But in terms of the Game of Thrones cast, you gotta wonder, like, how their mind, like, what a mind fuck they've got to be going through. Like, the character who plays, Arya being, okay, so I killed the Night King? Why did I kill the Night King? Who am I? I don't even know who I am anymore. Why didn't I do any of the faceless stuff? Like, they've got to be asking the questions even more than the fans or the haters or the critics. And, like, Amelia Clarke, Daenerys, she's got to be like, what, so I just went crazy? Am I really like that? And Jon Snow's like, maybe I need to check into, what's his name, Kit Harrington. He's like, okay, I'm going to check into a fucking mental institution now because that's what Jon Snow did. And the cast and crew should be even more, and probably are even more pissed off at the Dumb and Dumber David and Dan Weiss and Benioff that they led them off a cliff. Like, we put everything into where you were leading us, and you let us down tremendous. Like, you just told us that it was all bullshit. We thought we were doing Shakespeare quality stuff, And you showed us that it was just a cheap, circus trick. You built us up, you dressed me up and took me to the ball, and then it turned out to be a fucking back alley, and I turned around and you were gone. In fact, here's a prediction. I bet in the coming years, the actors are going to start lashing out at the writers. Because this is kind of like the ultimate... it's like, I've filmed actors before, and they trust you. And they trust that you're not going to make them look stupid. I remember one of the actors that in my movie, the most famous celebrity of all time, which is on my channel, he said after I filmed him, he goes, just don't make me look bad. Because that's kind of the trust that you're putting into your creators, because you don't know how it's gonna come out off. You don't know if they're gonna capture like snot hanging out of your nose and they're gonna keep it. I mean, keep the shot, not the snot. The actor doesn't know if the director is going to keep the snot in the shot. And I guess the worst part is that for most of these actors, that was their swan song. Like, this is it for them. That was the climax of their careers, of their lives. And it was just like, oh, wow. Okay. After 8 years of doing great shit, I ended, like, you made me look like a turd. And that's it now. And now I'm just going to become obscure and struggle for little roles here and there. Let's be realistic, right? I mean, whereas, like someone like, Brad Pitt or like a A-list Hollywood actor, they can just like, yeah, I screwed up with that movie. I sure fucked that up. But at least I can have a chance to make up for it with my next role. I think it was like Ryan Reynolds. There's stories of lots of actors. Ryan Reynolds made a movie where, I forget what it was, where it was so laughed at that he didn't even show up for the premiere. But he moved on, and he made Deadpool. Well, Varys or Jorah Mormont or Amelia Clarke or even Kit Harrington, they're not going to be able to make Deadpool. This is it for them. It's over. What brings this to mind is that I was rewatching season 8 just to see, because the first time it was like, being kicked in the face. But now that I'm ready for it, I'm trying to watch it to actually appreciate it for what it is. And Kit Harrington, he must have been so depressed about having to constantly be such a pussy and constantly just be saying, I don't know, she's my queen. And what was the other thing he always says? There's 2 things that he says, and that's about it for the whole season. Oh, I don't want it. Is that the one? I don't want to be king. I never wanted it. Like Daenerys, for the rest of her life, she's gonna Daenerys. Amelia Clarke, she's gonna be teased for the rest of her life about oh yeah, your rightful place is over there in the corner. Your rightful place is to fuck off. She's the rightful queen of looking for another job. The kid who plays Bran, he's gonna get bullied in school, and then after the bullies are done, they're gonna say, "It was the way it was meant to be. If we hadn't done this, then we wouldn't be where we are right now." And the girl who played Arya, instead of having a kill list, her next boss at the grocery store will give her a to-do list, or her husband will give her a shopping list, or that was what's the term now? That was against women. What I just said. Her husband gives her a shopping list. No, she gives the shopping list to her husband. It's kind of telling about the failure of season 8 that you can kind of boil each character down to one phrase. The only thing I really remember about Cersei in terms of the way she talks, which is really annoying, is how she goes, I do not tolerate deceit. You notice when she talks, she always has to pronounce the last consonant, because it seems she thinks it makes her sound, or somebody thinks it makes her sound more disgusted. So I would tease the actress, and I just pronounce the last consonant whenever I talk to her. It's, would you like to go to a restaurant? Actually, what a mindfuck. They should all be going crazy. That would actually be very funny. That somebody should do a skit about it. It's kind of mean, but if a week from now, the girl who plays the nurse, she checks herself also into the same wellness center, the same mental institution as Kit Harrington, and then a week later, the actress who plays Cersei also comes in, and then eventually the whole cast is in the same mental institution, and they all act out their roles. And the therapist, he puts them all in a room and he goes, okay, what kind of ending would satisfy you so you can finally get over this role and you can rejoin the world? And Jon Snow, we're just not going to use their actor names anymore. Jon Snow goes, I want to say I don't want this, but then I want to get this. And Daenerys would say to Jon Snow, but I'm the rightful queen. And Jon would say, I know, you'll always be my queen. And she'd be like, but I'm the rightful queen, but I guess you could be king. And he'd be like, okay. And then they'll get their resolution. And they'll be like, okay. And the psychiatrist goes, okay, you guys can go home now. You're released. You feel better? Okay, good. Etc. with all, and so on with all the rest of the cast. But they must be saying, like, where's my ending? Where's my ending? If you support gays, click like. If you respect blacks, comment. If you think women are people too, click the notification bell. And if you care about sick children, subscribe.